Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I am Usheen Blood Penguin Malloy. Thought you didn't see me today, but I am back with a vengeance. And joining me again is Kevin Strike Chung, who was casting earlier today with our other caster, Kamalala. And today we have got a game of Inforced Bears versus the Wacky Waving Inflatable Flailing Armed Tube Men, who are now, from now on, christened the Wackies, because I am not having to put that much emphasis on a word ever again. Strike, how we doing? Anything huge you're expecting? Anything kind of, crazy? These are two brand new teams for you.
Not really, I guess, but it'll be interesting to see what both these teams pull out. Because, like you said, these are new teams, so it's gonna be exciting because we don't know what they're gonna bring out.
Yeah, exactly, and we see the bans coming out quick and fast. And first pick, well, I'll go through the bans very quickly. Inforced Bears have banned Jinx, Pantheon, and Fiddlesticks, concentrating on that jungle. And on the purple side, which is the Wacky Waving Inflatable Flailing Arm Tube Men, Rek'Sai, Akali, and Yasuo. Jarvan being the first pick, though. Pretty standard bans from the Wackies. A bit more kind of centered towards a specific person there on the side of Inforced.
And just typical standard meta junglers being picked out. Jarvan and these early game, or the strong early junglers, for example, Rek'Sai being banned, Pantheon. So, but then we have Jarvan being picked from the is it Inf Bears?
Infused Bears.
Infused Bears.
Or sorry, it's not Infused, Enforced, God.
Enforced, there we go, yeah. Enforced Bears. And it looks like there's an Udyr Morgana being locked in for the Wacky Waving Inflatable Flailing Arm Tube Men.
Yes, the Wackies picking up very strong single target CC. And we see now bot lane as well, exceptionally strong laning phase coming out, we expect, from the Bears, as they have Graves and Janna locked in. As we saw in the games earlier today, Janna still exceptionally strong regardless of what team comp she's in.
And there's a Ashe actually being hovered over it. I would like to see it then, because that's a lot of CC coming in. She doesn't have the most strongest laning phase in the early game. However, once she gets past that in the mid game and late game, she has crazy damage with that passive and that like 100% crit once built up, and the ultimate. One of the rare AD carries which can actually engage. And with that Morgana and even Udyr, that's a lot of CC going for them if they choose to pick up that Ashe.
Yeah, a lot of single target CC and a lane gank at level 6 when you have got the Dark Binding, the Soul Shackles, and the Enchanted Arrow with Udyr coming in. They could lock someone down pretty damn quickly. They do pick up Renekton. Renekton come back a little bit in the prominence of a top lane bully. Do you think it will work out, considering he's technically going into this pick blind?
Renekton right now with the 5.1 rework on him, like he scales better into the late game, so his early game isn't really harmed that much. For example, the only real difference is that he now needs to land his abilities on the enemy champions rather than just spamming it into the minion wave and picking up Fury that way. So now he has to actually think about using his abilities and making sure he actually lands those abilities on the enemy laner for him to get enough Fury, and with more Fury he can do more damage.
Yeah, exactly. And we see now, taking their time, the Bears, they need to pick up their top laner and their mid laner. Starku and Gatsu going to be taking their sweet time with this one now, making sure they get the exact team comp right now. But they have a pretty strong comp in the sense that they could go with the favorable Maokai for Gatsu. I wouldn't be surprised if he locks that in. He is going to lock that in, but Starku picking up an Annie mid lane. Now we saw Annie support earlier today for Equilibrium. Annie mid lane, again, going in blind. Can it work, especially with this team comp?
Annie mid lane is actually really strong. I mean, her auto attack range is huge, and if she played very well, she can poke, especially even like from level 1, she can almost have a lot of kill potential. And she has that easy time farming with that Q for last hit minions. She doesn't lose any mana if she gets the last hit, and it's basically just a real easy way for Annie to sufficiently farm well. And in the Bears, I'm just gonna call them the Bears from now on. Looking at their team count, they have immense team fight. They have Jarvan, they have Graves with that AoE burst with that ultimate. They have Janna just in case they want to, disengage the fight and reset it possibly. And that Maokai, that really strong front line. So with that Jarvan and that Maokai, that's a very strong, beefy front line that the Wackies have to deal with. And just to finish off, they have the Annie in the mid lane, who's going to probably go full AP with that Flash Tibbers. That's going to be a very scary engage.
Yeah, it really, really is. And at the moment, we see Spitfire K. He is the jungler, but he has got Smite Teleport right now. I'm not quite sure that's exactly what he wants to be going with. You never know. New strats, new season. It's all up in the open. 5.1, as you did say, the ranks have been reset. So technically, we have a Platinum player, which is Inforced Bears Wolfie, with a load of unranks, and a Silver player, which is Sator Lad, with a load of unranks. So these guys are very close in that sense.
That's definitely. And from talking about the Bears team, let's move on to the Wackies. I mean, like we were saying, they have so much CC, especially single target CC, but it's so good, especially when they play it to how they want to play it, especially in the mid game and late game. If they want to make catches, they can. And like I was saying, the AD carry, if they chose to, can even engage for the team, which you rarely see. You usually see the jungler, the support, or even the top laner making those engages. But with Ashe, you can make those choices. And if, for example, Maxwell on that Ashe is the strongest, or the main shot caller on the Wackies, then this might play very well into their favor.
Yeah, we'll see. Have a look at the top. Look at full list of the teams. On the blue side is the Inforced Bears with Gatsu with Maokai in the top lane. XJ with his favorite Jarvan in the jungle. Mid lane, Starky's taking in an Annie, which we haven't seen him play recently at all. And the bot lane, or the duo lane, I should say, of Wolvie and Kappa will be Graves and Janna. Very, very strong. And on the purple side, it is the Wackies. Rocket with a Sator in the top lane with Renekton. Udyr teleports Smite for Spitfire in the jungle. Very, very interesting combo there of summoner spells. But again, it's all up in the air. No one really knows what's going to happen. Cogzer, I should say, Orianna in the mid lane, and their duo lane of Ashe and Morgana for Maxwell and the Outsider, respectively. Realistically looking at this, we have got a huge amount of kind of engage from both teams. We have talked about Starku's any Flash Tibbers or anything like that. We also have the Gatsu Twisted Advance from Maokai. But the kind of kite potential and to be able to chase down is very much there for the Wackies. How do you see both teams trying to want to fight this? First, the Bears, how do they want to fight this game?
Well, the Bears just really want to like hard engage. They want that AoE damage going down with that Jarvan going in, with that Maokai possibly even flashing and then twisting, advancing onto a key target. And once they lock down someone, they're going to literally be like, if they're not in the Jarvan ult, then they're in the Maokai route, and if they're not in the Maokai route, then they're in the Annie stun.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
On the opposite side, how Wackies want to be playing this is they actually picked up a very nice team comp to play against a team fight specific composition which Bears have created. They have the Orianna, so that AoE ult is going to do a lot of damage when positioned well. They have the Morgana, again another AoE ult, and it has a CC as well. And the Udyr is just going to be dancing around. I mean, he's probably just going to be a nuisance, depending on how well he does in the early or even the mid game, how strong he is. He can either do a lot of damage, be very tanky, and just be a nuisance, or just generally be at that very strong front line. And with that Renekton, again, all these AoE champions, I mean, both teams, when they both clash head on, it's going to be really interesting to see how they play it out. And I'm very excited to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, XJ, he's actually very known for his Jarvan plays. He likes to be aggressive. He takes slightly unconventional routes as well compared to most junglers. He doesn't, like, I've seen him a couple of times, instead of going through the river down to bot lane, he'll come up and behind, go for a lane gank quite a lot of times, and that is something we kind of forget from junglers, that there is more than one way to access a lane than just from the jungle, from the river. You can try lane ganks, or except for obviously mid, but you can try different things like that. So there's always those kind of options that XJ likes to flex out. Honestly, I haven't seen anything from the Wackies. I am completely new on their whole champion setup and everything like that, so I hope they can give us something interesting to look at, and a bit of a spectacle that impresses as much as their name does. As we are to go into chat, or the loading screen, and level 1 antics, are we expecting anything really, or are we thinking they're both just going to kind of cover their buffs, make sure they're all right, make sure they're safe?
I'd say if I was in the Wackies right now, they actually have a very strong level 1. I mean, you wouldn't think, but Ashe's level 1 is actually really strong with that almost guaranteed crit, with that passive being built up. I mean, when you're running from base and into the middle of the battlefield, Ashe's passive is pretty much stacked to 100%. So the first auto attack that Ashe throws out is pretty much a crit, and that's immense damage level 1. And they have the Morgana binding if they choose to take it. And depending on what Udyr takes, he could also take stun. And Renekton is generally a very good early game damage champion. And Orianna, she's very utility. She can give a shield. She can go with the Q for the damage. And yeah, It's just a very strong level 1 lineup on the Wackies, but also alongside the Bears, they also have a very strong level 1 as well in the form of Annie. Depending on what she takes, she could take W and charge up that stun ready for that level 1 fight. Maokai, good frontline, but depends what he offers. Like, if he decides to start saplings, he might cover up his jungle. But I think in terms of Bears, their best option is to just defend and to hold their ground rather than try and make any level 1 invade plays.
Yeah, and I think Udyr is probably one of the few junglers that can out 1v1, I should say, Jarvan in the early levels. Jarvan always, with his passive, the 8% or the 6% HP a strike, if you like, every 9 seconds. And that's something that, I think Spitfire K needs to be, kind of very aware of. He needs to be an aggressor because we've, Jarvan has got the early gank pressure, as does Udyr, but his is a little bit more instant in lane. The flag and drag combo a lot quicker than just running into lane with your bear stance charged up and that movement speed. But we'll have to see exactly what they go for. New jungle changes, you can swap trinkets very, very easily now, and you can swap jungle items very, very easily now. So realistically, for you, what's the lane to watch? What's the one lane that you feel is going to be kind of the explosive factor in all these in all this kind of series?
I'd say hopefully not being biased as a mid main, but the mid lane is going to be my pickup for this game. I mean, they have the Jarvan and the Annie, and with that Annie, she could easily just flash stun as a guaranteed stun landing instantly, pretty much with that W, and then Jarvan can come in and just knock them up, and that's usually a summoner burn or a kill guaranteed.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you there. That stun by Starkey is very, very important, and as much as it's very important that he has it, it's also very important that he doesn't miss it. If it lands onto, say, Renekton and Udyr and not onto Maxwell or onto the Orianna Kog'Ser, that could be spell disaster for their team fight, knowing that AoE stun and damage is no longer part of their their team comp. And as you said, the kind of AoE stuns from the Morgana Shoal Shackles, the Orianna Shockwave, Renekton and Ashe, so many kind of slows and kiting, and that would be a huge thing for them if they didn't hit it.
Definitely. So they really need to time when they were going to go in, and when they see the opportunity, they need to make that split-second decision of whether we can go in, whether we should go in, or whether we should just avoid this and kite back with that Ashe and Morgana and Orianna.
The kite and the Orianna, exactly. The kite will be very, very hard for even a Janna to try and deal with, because as much as she's great at kiting, if she's constantly slowed by the frosted arrows of Ashe, it's going to be exceptionally difficult. But as we said, both teams looking to get very aggressive level 1. I don't really know if Bears want to fight this because they've been spotted out, and this could be really, really bad. They've actually, oh no, the Wackies, they have full vision, they have full knowledge of this. They're going to back away. They could go for this, I'm not quite sure. They're just waiting for something. No, they're going to try to go for the other blue. Smart move?
Yeah, I'd say it's a smart move because the Wackies actually have knowledge of the Bears being in their jungle. However, the Bears do not know where the Wackies are actually going. For all the Bears know, they could be running into a 5-man face check into a bush. But I think the Wackies are making the better choice and just going into the opposite side of the jungle rather than risk it, because they didn't place any wards down in their bot side jungle, so they don't actually know where they are. They can just guess where their presence is, and they know that they're in the bot side jungle.
Yeah, smart move there by the Wackies. Good actual pathing by them, because as you say, most people would go through the regular route of going through the jungle into the river and just sitting on that bush. So it's actually a pretty decent pathing by them. They have made the right move. They've gone over to the blue side jungle, and honestly, I'd say they think they're completely... Oh, now they know they've been caught out now that Wolvie has been spotted out by that ward, so he's quite deep. But again, it's going to be hard for... I'd say for the Bears to kind of get more information from this, but they are going to end up on mirroring each other. Seeing the blue straight off though, seeing the pink. Actually going to be a better start for Spitfire, and I quite like that start from the Wackies.
And what I find interesting is Kog'Ser on the Orianna from the Wackies is actually staying with the jungler rather than going straight to lane, because he's going to miss a few minions. However, it speeds up Udyr's jungle clear slightly, so we'll see what Udyr can make of this.
And actually, we see as well, Sator Lad did take quite a lot of damage from that blue buff as well, so he's going to be waiting for his Cull the Meek to get up and get that lifesteal back with his Fury. But as we said, with the remake, he needs to be landing that on top of Maokai, and right now, the outsider, he's landing Dark Bindings pretty solidly, so they need to be careful as we see Sator lad. He's in a bit of trouble. He should have waited for his Fury. There comes the flash from Gatsu. It's going to be first blood. Ooh, this jungle start has not been kind to the top lane at the moment. Good start though for Bears.
And that's the problem, like, when your top lane goes to help out the jungler in terms of clearing the jungle, but the enemy top laner actually goes to lane straight away without assisting. Oh, there's a fight bot lane.
Yeah, there's a fight bot lane. Dark Binding landed, but a lot of poke went down on top of the Ashe and Morgana. So that's another win for the Bears. They're establishing dominance in that lane, but with an Ashe, or Janna Graves, I should say, kind of to be expected. They are the bit of the lane bullies.
And this is unfortunate for the Wacky's bot lane. Now they're pressured under the tower now with that Janna and that Graves combination, with that shield being placed onto the Graves and Graves going ham with the E in, with the Q. It does a lot of damage.
It does do a lot of damage, but Wolfie needs to be careful. He's getting hit by a lot of these Dark Bindings, so this is something he needs to be quite wary of. You know, one Dark Binding when Udyr comes in, it's gonna take a lot of, you know, kind of damage off him, a lot of time off him as well, so he needs to be a bit careful. Now everyone just starting to calm down a little bit, and Maxwell needs to probably go back very soon. He's not the healthiest, still has his flash and his heal, but you don't really want to be using them.
And despite being pushed back this far and very low in health points, he's actually even, or was ahead in farm, but now he's even. So he's doing a very good job, because playing at Ashley, especially in the early, it's really difficult. So if he can survive this this early laning phase and shine in the mid and late, he can actually do really well and pull us back.
Yeah, we see now, XJ gets caught out in the jungle. Spitfire Arcade, it's a 3-man or 3v2. They get one knock-up, it's not going to be enough, or not one knock-up, one stun. Bear stance by Spitfire K. He used his teleport, so I assume that was to use and to get to a buff. Hasn't gone to clear his blue yet either, but they have a very deep, look at this deep pink ward just off to the side of Annie. Very nicely put down by Wacky. They're making the right moves.
And good deep pink wards in the enemy jungle is actually really good, because most enemy junglers rarely actually check these little bushes, because in terms of the quickest pathing, it doesn't benefit them to walk and check that bush. But it's a good investment on gank in the mid lane.
Yeah, gank in the mid lane, forces the flash from actually 2 people. Will she be able to stay alive from this? No, she won't. She auto-attacked the Jarvan, who had got the Gromp passive, which is the kind of like a Thornmail, if you like, for Jarvan, and didn't help her a lot really with the Ignite combo. That is another kill going over to the Bears. But not too bad. They are kind of expected to lose this early game. They have got a lot of late game potential, so that's something they need to kind of be keep in the back of their minds. And that's our lad establishing a little bit of more dominance with this Renekton over Maokai, which is to be expected.
And even despite that 1 kill deficit from the first blood at the top lane, he's actually out farming the Maokai, surprisingly. And like you said, like Wacky's lack the early game, the strong early game is actually in the top lane. In the mid and in the bot side, they have to play a bit more cautious and more farm orientated. So they're actually doing rather well, and as long as they don't give up any more kills like this, then they should be golden.
Yeah, I feel like the first dragon will be a huge fight for them, and they might be getting baited into this though. Outsider gets knocked up, the exhaust goes down, they use the dark shield as well. Here comes Spitfire K, he forces the flash away from Morgana. Now they're trying to turn this onto the Udyr. Udyr taking so much damage, exhaust goes down onto Wolfie, they get the dark binding over as well. The bear stance, it's not going to be enough though. They get a couple of Janna auto attacks off, he's able to pick up that kill. Very nicely done, another kill going over. This one however is going over to Janna. Very nicely done, and they're not over yet. Here comes the Howling Gale. Just going to be a bit more of a poke than anything else. They back away, but at the moment 1400 up in gold, they're not doing badly.
And the pressure from Jarvan, I mean, you mentioned XJ's Jarvan, he plays exceptionally well, and it shows. I mean, his early game presence on an early game jungler is definitely showing. That's what you need to be doing. As a strong early game jungler, you want to be showing your presence and basically carrying your team through the early and letting them carry you through the mid and late game.
Yeah, and I still think though, L6 should be a pretty big combination here in this bot lane. Dark Binding misses. Maxwell's in a little bit of trouble. He's got the spell immune onto him. He's not going to be able to get to though, however. They are going to find Spitfire in this jungle, and they're going to be able to take one more auto attack. And don't know they're going to be able to get him. We go back down to the bot lane to see who heal has been burned. Good dark binding there on top of Wolfie. He's not done though. He's trying to get one more. One more on him like he gets the. Oh, he's gonna be baited. He's completely baited. Wolfie, what are you doing? He gets completely baited on the tower. Thought he could get the kill. Didn't have flash. Didn't have heal. And he gives a kill back over. Satterlad though being caught in this top lane. Gatsu. Ooh, he's gonna get away just about. No mana, no health. Satterlad needs to try and get away a little bit further. He's going to be able to slash and dash, a slice and dice, should say, away. Gets a little bit of lifesteal from that Scuttlebug. And they back away, but Bears feeling a bit antsy. They hadn't really got full control of that bot lane. They definitely let it hurt themselves.
Yeah, I can't believe Satter actually managed to escape that 3-man gang. I mean, there's a lot of time wasted from that Annie. However, they do send him back, but like, what do they gain from her? And what we saw bot lane with the Ashe and the Morgana baiting the Graves in. I mean, every time he backs off, they just step in a bit closer just to draw, and he comes to TP at the dragon.
And here he comes, Gatsu, only man here by himself. He's actually underneath the dragon right now. Here comes Wolfie, he's trying to go in. He has not got his ultimate just yet, but it's not going to matter. He gets one kill, or sorry, Gatsu gets one kill. That's on top of the jungler. Here's another one going down, a little bit antsy. We saw this with the earlier game today as well. Gatsu going to get a double kill. That's 3 kills for just being a little bit over anticipation, a little bit antsy, not sweeping properly, and that's a huge loss for the Wackies.
It looks like the first dragon is going over to the Bears, and there's just action happening everywhere at the moment. And unfortunately, they started the dragon, however, they didn't have a chance to pick it up. The huge wave in the bot lane, raiding just a little tiny bit, but we can see the Annie actually seems to be helping the Bears job in warding there, and that's what I like to see. I like to see the synergy between jungle and other teammates helping them ward, because you never want to go in the enemy jungle alone, because you never know what's there waiting for you, and it's just not worth the risk.
No, it really is, and they actually lose a mid lane tower for that as well, so that's a huge loss there. As we see Starku going roaming right now, he's going to use the Tibbers. There goes the ignite. That's going to be a kill on the Spitfire. He goes down to an agony of embrace of agony, I should say, for the Annie. Again, it's just from strength to strength. Bears starting to push their advantages.
This is going to set them up really well for the mid game. I mean, we have two kills and 2 assists on the Jarvan, 3 kills and 1 assist on the Maokai. This is going to be one extremely beefy and strong front line. I mean, whether they build damage or whether they go tanky, that front line is going to be a huge problem. And if the Wackies don't find themselves having the damage to actually peel through that front line, they're going to be in a lot of trouble, especially during these objectives when front liners really show their dominance in team fights.
Yeah, a 10-minute Rod of Ages on top of Gatsu's Maokai. He is pretty damn scary in both tankiness and in damage, as we can see now. Just jumping on top of Satterlad. Nothing really else to do with it. Cogs are going to get chased away as well. Bears already establishing dominance in this jungle. XJ though, maybe get a little bit. There's the shockwave. It actually lands on the 2. XJ's in a little bit of trouble. He's going to flash away, not flash away, he's going to flag and drag away as they now have 2 people. He goes down though, use the Cataclysm to keep Satterlad in there. They're trying to jump on top of Starku, but ooh, he gets a lot of burst down onto Udyr. This should be a kill though, going over to Satterlad. It's a double kill as we move straight down to the bot lane. A little bit of action over here as well. See Kappa taking a huge amount of damage in against him. Gatsu, everyone's trying to see if they can do something now, but again, Bears, as much as they're doing so many things right, they're overextending, and I really feel like they need, if they're, they need to kind of like stop kind of over anticipating what they need to do. Otherwise, they'll keep giving away kills, and you can't keep giving away kills against an Orianna Ashe.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when you're ahead with that lead, you don't want to be throwing it. You want to play even more cautious when you're ahead, because any chance that you give the enemy to come back from is a chance which might increase your chances of losing, basically. Like, when they were forcing that fight against the Udyr and the Orianna, they could have just used that opportunity to ward. They won the fight. They scared them away. So what they could have done is just drop the ward deeper into the enemy jungle. And they just overstayed their welcome, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. As we see now, XJ, he's going for his lane gank now. He's gotten no vision on him just yet. May have spotted him, though, from that far ward back in the tri-bush. I'm not exactly sure. And oh, dearie me. Spitfire is not having a good game. He got caught out. He's the first one to go down. Wolfie trying to get another kill. He's not going to be able to get it, though. as we see XJ trying to use his mobility boots, but Annie coming in with the bear. She catches him off. Wolfie picking up 1 kill there. Soul Shackles goes down. It's not going to be enough. Also burns and exhaust. Cogs are trying to come in to defend. Don't really think you want to be here right now, as everyone in Bears' team, apart from Gatsu, is in this bot lane. And from strength to strength to strength, the Bears starting to turn the knife a little bit.
And we see this roam from the mid laner of Bears, Starku on that Annie, picking up the... Oh, actually, never mind, he didn't have a Mobby Boost. But I think a Mobby Boost would be a really good pickup for the Annie, especially with the amount of roaming he's doing. And the kill pressure that she's applying, I mean, she already has a death cap at 13 minutes. Her damage is going to be off the charts, and she can pretty much one-shot anyone she chooses on the enemy team.
Yeah, she really, really is pretty damn strong. Death cap finish before the 13-minute mark is a pretty huge item. I will say that, you know, they can take this as well. Annie is by no way means like an early game champion. She has got huge late game pressure as well with the flash tibbers that we just saw. Tend to see it more in an AoE fight, but nonetheless still very, very effective against single targets. You know, the Moby Boots finish as well for Jarvan, as well as that I think it's the Devour enchantment. No, sorry, the Ranger's Trailblazer, the Warrior enchantment. And Gatsu and Sator Lad, they're just going to be trying to see if they can do something here now. Oh, they're actually still going for it. As you see the ult being popped off, Spitfire trying to jump on a Gatsu. He's a very tanky man. I do not think they want to be fighting this. Here comes Starky, the little menacing girl. She's jumping up. She has not got her stun up. Now she does. She's going to drop down the Ignite. There's another kill in their favor. As we see now the rotation from the mid lane and the support of the Wackies, but I don't think it's going to be enough. They should be able to take this turn. As we see a flash engage now, Sator Lad. Oh, they get the Tibbers as well.
Well
played. Everything happening. It's a pause right at this very moment in time. Gatsu going to take one more hit from the tower. He should go down. Cogs are trying to defend himself. Starku in the moment is kind of cut off from his team. Kappa not really doing the greatest of jobs with that ultimate. Everyone there saying Wolfie did DC, so he's going to like rejoin very, very shortly. They're having their own duel down the bot lane. Pretty sure Wolfie's going to come out on top of that, so this could be a very, very decisive fight. But here we go. Will Sator Lad die? No, he won't. Shockwave comes in, but it doesn't hit anybody. Cogs are still trying to go in on top of this. He gets taken down as well. Double kill, or not a double kill, it's only 1 kill. As we see XJ going to use it. Oh no, he doesn't quite get it. He should be able to get a Q off though in the next 2 or 3 seconds. There it is, shut down onto him. Wolfie did take down Ashe in that bot lane, so that ends up being a 4-for-1. Why, oh why would they focus on the tankiest character of the Bears? It doesn't make sense to me.
No, it doesn't, and we can just see again the ruin from Starku. I mean, everywhere she goes, it's just striking death into the hearts of all the Wackies out there. When she goes missing, the Wackies have to be cautious on the feet. I mean, when the Annie isn't seen anywhere on their map, you've got to be careful. I mean, this is why dropping wards, especially when all these outer towers are down, you need to start warding in your jungle defensively, especially when you're behind, because every bush you walk into could be a Jarvan, or could be even worse, could be a little girl with fireballs throwing at you, destroying you.
Or even worse, it could be a ward that you haven't noticed, therefore giving your position away. The scariest thing of all is ward coverage. As we see now, just as we talk about ward coverage, we see the Bears putting down some preliminary wards to try and make sure they get the best attempt. Oh my god, so much damage coming out just from Kappa. As we see Spitfire already being chased down. The bear has been hunted by the bear keeper. As we see, there's the twisted advance, there's a kill. Gatsu picking up another one. He's 4-1-3 with 96 CS, almost at the century. Triple figures, but again, it's going to be another dragon going over to the Bears, and honestly, I see them throwing this lead.
No, I mean, what, like, in the dragons, even if your jungle gets caught out, and this is the problem, when you're going to take, like, not having flash is actually a huge detriment to your team. I mean, you have to play accordingly to that. He has to play extremely safe, because if he gets caught, he doesn't have that forgiving summoner spell of flash to really escape, like flashing over the wall. And Udyr itself he has his bear stance for that extra movement speed to run away. However, when you're caught in the jungle, when there's CC on you, he can't run away from the slow, he can't run away from the stun. So that's a huge problem, and we haven't really seen this teleport made, you know, too much effect currently.
Yeah, as we see now, Sator Lad did take on that top tower. Kappa and Gatsu, though, are hot on the trail. As we see now the ultimate pop by Gatsu, he's going to be able to pop that very shortly. They aren't actually quite able to kill him just yet, but here comes XJ for a little bit of cleanup. He tries to get him away, actually. Kappa, a little bit careful. Sator Lad, though, going to be taken out by the Q of the bear, of the XJ. on Jarvan. As we see Starkey, look how scared they are right now of Starkey. There's nothing new, and Spitfire finds himself in another compromised situation. He's gonna go down very, very soon, but he might be actually able to get away from this. The Demacia standard is down on XJ. Oh no. As he thought he was going to get away, and actually they might have been able to kill Starkey as a repile. Oh, there's the shockwave. Nothing to follow it up though. Wolvie was very much there, and a huge summoner spell burned off there. Honestly, what can Wackies do at this stage, or is there anything they can do?
They could. Well, they have that good pink ward in that bush next to the race. However, they can't defend it. Whoa, big team fight happening here.
Oh, huge team fight. Orianna and Ashe completely obliterated straight away. Morgana soon to follow. It was a 5-man push straight into that mid lane. Bear, the Tibbers taking up all the tankiness that tanking up all the damage of the turret. There goes the second of 3 inner turrets. They are onto the T1, the inhibitor turrets, and they are going to take that one down pretty damn handily. Take an inhibitor with them as well. This is pre-20 minutes. Apart from a couple pretty shaky decisions, pretty dominating performance from the Bears right now.
And what you were saying before, what could Wackies do? But I mean, it's just generally people getting caught, and like I said, if like this Annie, who went from a team fight crazy stun bot, she's now almost an assassin. I mean, she has the burst to 100 to 0 anyone right now. Maybe not Renekton, however, she has potential to be a scary team fighter, but she is now, as I mentioned before, now almost an assassin. Anyone she catches out needs to fear for their lives.
Yeah, exactly. We've seen now Gatsu and Satorlad going at it as top laners do, but Satorlad is not really feeling exactly as confident, I'd say, as Gatsu is. Gatsu very much tanking up absolutely everything. One of this, using the spells as passive to his advantage. He 1v1s with only a little bit of his health taken away from him. That is very, very strong. Very daunting, I would nearly say, coming out from them. That means just shows you how strong that top lane really is.
Yeah, I mean, Maokai with that passive, he was just healing every like 5 spells that came out, and Renekton is a champion known for as a spellcaster. He needs to cast spells to be doing damage, and he was pretty much just healing Gatsu right there, and there was no way that Renekton could actually 1v1 Gatsu, especially when he's this far ahead. I mean, there's an 11k goal lead, and there's a Morgana getting caught.
Yeah, Morgana caught out, decimated straight away. Realistically, I would nearly, as bad as it sounds, there's only 20 more seconds or 15 seconds left to really kind of deal with this. The Wackies kind of need to forget about this game, work towards the next one, as it is a best of 2 series. Points given to either team if they win a match, but obviously Bears will want to look to grow off this performance, because it's been nothing less than, you know, absolutely dominating. As we see another team fight breaking out, it's going to be XJ adding to his KDA. Good shockwave, catches 4 people, was able to defend the base a little longer. Starkey gets caught out by a dark binding. I don't think there's able to do anything. There's the Ashe ult that we've been talking about, but a good ultimate coming out from Janna. The Monsoon was able to keep Starkey alive. They just want to kill Starkey at this stage. It's a triple kill though. Starkey turned that fight straight away around. There goes another inhibitor. You'd imagine they're going to take down the Nexus turrets as well. Annie just impossible to kill at this stage in the game. Huge Void Staff Rabadons. There really was nothing they could do. Now she finally goes down. It was Kog'Sar who takes her down eventually. That shutdown goal going in favor of him. But the Nexus turrets are falling, and realistically, I don't think there's, apart from a couple of like moments of, you know, glory from the Wackies, not a lot from them to really take from this game.
No, I mean, they have to, like you said, they have to just forget about this game and just think what can they do. There's no point moping over the past, and from what this game shows, they need to really focus on the pressure that XJ on Jarvan is creating. So maybe they need to consider banning him out, or maybe they need to pick more stronger laners, especially in the early game. I mean, that bot lane was holding their own quite nicely. However, it got to the point when if every lane is currently behind and losing, there's nothing you can really do. There's nothing you can follow up on. I mean, the Bears were always that one step ahead of them. Like when they were going for the objectives, they couldn't follow up because they had to make the decision between leaving the farm that was getting pushed into the tower just to maybe gain something from this objective fight. But if they don't, then they lose out on both farm and the objective.
Yeah, alright guys, we will be back with game 2 between Inforced Bears and the Wacky Wavy Inflatable Flailing Arm 2 men. Don't go anywhere, we're going to have a quick break. Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are back with game 2 of the Wacky Waving Inflatable Flailing Arm 2 men versus Inforced Bears. Wackies did coming into this with a pretty hefty loss. Bears brimming with confidence. I imagine the picks and bans are going to go pretty much, the same way for Bears, but Wacky's already starting to switch things up by banning out that Jarvan.
And that's a great ban. I mean, we saw how great XJ played on that. His early pressure was immense, and he really shined. And as an early game jungle like that, you want to be making plays like that. So, what better way to deal with it than just to ban it out?
Yeah, same bans though coming out from the Inforced Bears, who are now on the purple side or red side, whichever you prefer. Jinx and Pantheon pretty much identical with it, as we actually see a Morgana ban. Now, the Outsider did take that the last time. This time he is the one, he is not going to be able to have that, so we will see him on a different champion. Yasuo is another ban for the Wackies as we wait for the last ban from the Bears. But I imagine don't fix what's not broken. Don't fix what not is. Don't fix what's not broken. There we go. Got it out eventually. That was harder to say than the Wacky's full team there. And the Fiddlesticks there. Banned as well. So pretty much business as usual for them. First pick though. Will they pick away the Annie?
Ooh, that Annie. Well, it's a really good flex pick. I mean, we could play it mid like Starkey did, or we can play it in the support. And you see a lot of Annie's support like coming back into flavor now, especially in the LCK. And we know the early strengths of it. I mean, that stun, the damage, the poke from the auto attack range. It's a really good pick. So it's a really good first pick because one, it takes it away from Starkey, who really shone in that last game. I mean, he did incredibly well with those roams, making those picks and catches everywhere. And yeah, so it can go support, it can go mid, but most importantly, it picks it away from Starkey.
Yeah, it does pick it away. They haven't locked it in yet, and they have a couple of seconds there. They're probably mulling it over exactly what they want to do, but no, there comes the lock in. Now, Bears gonna insta-lock that Janna for Kappa. It worked very, very well for that last game, and Graves as well, so we already have the bot lane. Pretty smart to not, change anything from that.
Yeah, exactly. And the Janna Graves being picked up, and we saw that before, didn't we, in the exact same bot lane, and we see the strengths of it. I mean, when that Janna applies the shield onto the Graves, that's just key for that just tells the Graves, okay, one shield is on me, I'm just gonna E in aggressively and Q, and that's crazy damage because with that AD scaling, or with that additional AD, sorry, from that shield, it increases your trade, and with that shield, you can actually trade a lot more efficiently. Because whilst you trade health points away from the enemy, they trade the shield damage, and then after getting through the shield, before they can even trade any health points from you.
Yeah, it's kind of a double-edged sword that is only pointed against your enemies. It shields the AD carry, gives them more AD, and gives them far more trade potential, as well as the Howling Gales that come out every now and again to stop people from aggressing. But we see a Shyvana for Spitfire K in that jungle, and a Vayne as well. Shyvana definitely has seen less play, but even then, she was more of a top laner than anything.
Well, it's curious. It's interesting to see. Like, it could be played in the top lane, supposedly, and even in the jungle. I mean, with the recent changes, I think Shyvana is a great pick in the jungle. I mean, her wave clear, her clear speed in the jungle isn't really affected, but she has an additional smite. And what a lot of people say Shyvana lacks in the jungle is that she has no CC. Unless she has red buff. However, now if she takes the chilling smite, she has CC. She has her own form of CC now in the form of that smite. So her ganks are more dangerous. So she can clear really fast in the jungle. Sorry, and then she can also gank quite effectively. And it even goes really well when paired up with a laner that you're trying to gank for who has that CC. For example, an Annie.
Yeah, exactly, and a lot of potential, as we like to say. Potential being the optimal word. You don't really know exactly how these things are going to hand out until the potential, if you like, has been realized. We see though on the side of the Bears, Starku picking up Azir, nice little pick for him, and Wolvie picking up XJ for Lee Sin for XJ. And on the Wacky side, we actually see mid lane, it's going to be a Ziggs, unless it's a Ziggs support, and possibly a Rengar jungle with a Shyvana top. So again, not too bad. Rengar, though, again, has seen better days. He has been hit with the nerf bat pretty damn hard in a few patches a few months back. Is he still prominent enough to do, kind of decent enough in this game?
Rengar, he's always got to have his place within the game. I mean, it really depends on playstyle. I mean, some people build him tanky, some people building assassin. Like, he can still delete that one squishy target if he chooses and if he's ahead. So it really depends on how the early game goes for him. For example, can he pick up 1 or 2 kills to get rolling into that really high damage assassination build? But yeah, it really just shows about, or really determines about how the outside. I'm sorry, how. Is it Sata? Oh, it looks like there's Rengar on the top lane, actually.
Oh! Well, again, we were just talking about the jungle part of it, but even a Rengar top lane against a Gnar, who happens to be semi-ranged, if you like, considering when he goes Mega Gnar from his passive. I haven't seen the lane matchup myself.
I haven't seen it for a while, and it'll be interesting to see what. I just, like, as you noted, that Gnar being picked up from the Bears. I mean, Gnar very good champion overall. I mean, the amount of CC he can throw out, especially when he's 6 and in those team fights, is immense. So the Wackies really have to be careful about that.
Yeah, a lot of throw about ultimates, I like to call them, from the Bears at the moment. You get Gnar ultimated into the wall, then Azir comes in and ultimates you the other way, and then Janna spreads you all out, and then the Lee Sin kick just throws you in one direction. So a lot of displacements, a lot of disorientated ultimates coming out there. So we have got the teams locked in. We will go through them now very, very quickly. On the blue side, it is the Wackies with Sator Lad, Rock and Rengar in that top lane. Spitfire K gonna go with Shyvana in the jungle. Cogs are going with a little bit different, going with that Ziggs in the mid lane, and their duo lane of Maxwell and the outsider picking up Vayne and Annie. And on the purple or red side, whichever you prefer, is going to be the Bears, Inforced Bears, as we see Gatsu bringing out Nara in that top lane. XJ going off because he was allowed on Jarvan, picking up the Lee Sin. Azir for Starku in that mid lane, and again, why fix what's not broken for the bot lane, or the duo lane I should say, as Wolfie and Kappa pick up Graves and Janna again. Realistically, after the performance from that last game, it would take a hell of a lot of misplays, my opinion, on the part of Bears for, you know, the Wackies to really try and come out of this. Even looking at their team as well, they're really waiting on that late game scaling of Vayne.
And well, when we see XJ, I mean, these different style of champions, especially for the mid lane, Starku now on that Azir, he went from Annie, a burst champion, now to a more poke orientated like farming. Azir has his place in the early game, in the form of his gradual poke. However, it goes from poke to now burst. I really want to see how Starkey plays this, and can he live up to the hype of being a really good mid laner who can play both burst champs, poke champs. And XJ now on that Lee Sin saw how much presence he had on that Jarvan, so it looks like we can't ban him away. So let's see how he does on this Lee Sin. Can he keep up his pace like he did on the Jarvan game and carry his team through the early? And take it from here, sorry.
No worries at all. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've just joined us, you are watching Game 2 of the Wacky Waving Inflatable Flailing Arm Tube Men versus Inforced Bears. This is a group match for Group B. Inforced Bears won the first game, so they took the first point. Wackies are trying to get another point to keep them, just kind of keep, you know, the Bears intact, but it was a pretty dominant performance from the Bears. And at this moment, we'd like to say this is for G4, which is the LAN that will be happening on March 21st and 22nd in the Alexander O'Callaghan Hotel in Dublin City. If you haven't bought your ticket, please go to G-LAN or g-lan.ie and you will find tickets for that every day. We have COD, we have StarCraft 2, and we of course have League of Legends, the top 4 teams from the quarterfinals and semifinals of this. So you have to go. Quarterfinals are online. Semifinals will be the live LAN. We will also have the ICL, which is the Irish College League final there as well. So please, guys, go to that website. Try pick up your tickets early because we only have a limited capacity as well. And at this moment, I would like to sell my soul a little bit more. I'd like to thank Razer for supplying us equipment. Razer have been fantastically brilliant for us right now. They have given us equipment for keyboards, mice, headsets, and mouse pads. They've also given us a couple of goodies to give away to the public, to you guys. That has been absolutely thing. We thank Razer so much. Razer Gaming, if you go to their website, you will see all their different things. They also have a bit of a sale going on now as well. And I'd also like to say thank you to Monster Energy Drink, because without them, we wouldn't be doing LANs. Monster Energy have been fantastic to us in the last few LANs. They have been providing us with different things like fridges, endless amounts of energy drink. They have been unbelievably fantastic in supporting us, and we do thank them very much. I think I sold my soul enough, Strike, don't you?
I couldn't agree more, though. I mean, Razer makes amazing mouse mats. I have one myself as well. And Monster Energy drinks. Every game is love of life, right? Sitting here with that can of Monster, keeping that energy filled up so you can game more.
That's how I continue to cast at like 20 million words a minute. I just have a can of Monster, Ripple, if you must know, the yellow one, which is actually really nice. It tastes like pineapple. It's so nice. But anyway, back to the thing at hand. Also, by the way, guys, if you didn't know, Strike will be joining us, myself and Como Kamalala, at the live LAN. So we are very excited to have him in Ireland. It's your first time in Ireland.
Yes, and I'm excited, so I want you to see me. I want you to take me around, show me the Irish scene, and yeah, it's gonna be fun.
show you the Irish scene as I can just imagine Twitch chat going, what is he talking about? No worries. Well, guys, we'll be working towards that. These group games obviously work towards the G5 and G National Championships at the end of the year at Winterland. So keep an eye on those. We will keep you guys updated. We are just jumping on top of the rift now. Everyone's starting to buy their items and waiting to jump out there as Rengar does. But level 1 shenanigans, who has the strongest level 1, if anybody?
Looking at it now, at least it'll always have that strength. Graves with that AoE. I mean, not AoE, well, it is AoE. I mean, his Q can potentially hit all 5 members of Wacky's if they're not careful. The John of the Tornado or that shield, depending on which one she decides to take. As it is a tricky one because he can only level his W at level 1. There's no other choice. He can't take Q, he can't take E, because all his spells use his clones to actually do anything. So he's forced to take his W.
Oh.
Double ward's going now, more vision.
Small little mistake they wanted to try. I think they're trying to catch somebody out. Not quite sure how that was going to work with a Lee Sin who can grant vision with his abilities. So they end up losing that one a little bit. Cogs are already a little bit low on mana, losing a lot of mana, but he should be able to regen that up pretty damn swiftly. And everyone's a bit tense at the moment. Everyone seems to be a bit antsy. Be a little bit more careful. Oh, we actually see Wolfie and Kappa. A little bit of no man's land. Sprays the water gun though, able to get them away.
And you see these wards going down, so it looks like it looked like Wacky's really wanted to do something. They had that and they take the W first, and they charged up that stun. However, they couldn't get it off, and they couldn't really make anything happen. So it looks like standard fanning out and standing laning for everyone.
Yeah, standard lanes, and we realistically thought this now, and I'm curious to see how this Gnar Rengar kind of top lane works out actually in the end, because both junglers are starting opposite of themselves. So one starting on the Krunks, one starting on the Gromp. And they're going to be on the same gank paths and everything, but we do see, however, if we can drop down to the bot lane, you'll see it on your mini-map. I don't know if the spectator client or the streamer is bringing it down. We see now Wolfie and Kappa taking that Gromp away, so they're going to possibly have an early level 2.
And we've seen time and time again that the bot lane that gets that level 2 usually gets the lead in that bot lane, especially in the early game. Because with that level 2, you get XP advantage, you get another skill, so that's basically another trade mechanic, and you get extra health and just battle stats in general. And there you see it.
Yeah, we see it now. As you see Kappa getting stunned up by the outsider. The outsider trying to burn through that shield. His auto attacks going to do a little bit of damage, but not too much. As we see Starku now. Now he got his level 2. He's going to start putting down the pain on top of this Ziggs. Ziggs went from a kind of an AoE anti-siege master to being able to push out. We see now Wolfie. Whoa! He flashed and the auto attacked the minion. Not quite sure what that was about. Takes a tower shot for a trouble and a lot of tower damage actually on top of Kappa as well. But as I was trying to say, Cogs are on Ziggs, and we saw a lot of LCS Ziggs in the LCS pretty much through the kind of early season 4, as he was kind of the AoE master of anti-siege and took a couple of nerfs, took a couple of hits with the nerf hammer, and I think it's just more annoying than anything when you throw a bouncing bomb and it literally bounces over the minions.
Yeah, I mean, he's like the current Xerath now. His range is immense, and the range is so high that you couldn't, most mid lane champions, or most champions in general, couldn't really counteract that. And, well, now against an Azir, like the bouncing bombs now do less damage, and it does less damage against minions, sorry. And with this Azir paired against him, they're both fairly long range champions, so it just depends who can maintain the range better and play to that range.
Yeah, it really does. We see the bot lane now. Maxwell and the outsider really low on health, but they have got mana, as we see now. Lee Sin's going to come in. He gets the splash, he gets the Q, but he's been stunned up under tower. He gets exhausted. It's going to be a double kill, or sorry, not, it's going to be 2 kills, but oh, Spitfire was in the right place at the right time. He picks up a kill for himself. TP came in for Saturlad as well. He's going on. They force the heal out of Wolfie. They're trying to kite this back. Saturlad forced the flash away. Spitfire, though, he's going to try to come in. He knows there's no flash on Wolfie. There's also no more dash. He gets the red book props. He's going to keep chasing up. One more Dragon's Pet should be able to do it. I don't know if he has the man. No, he hasn't got the cooldowns to be able to get it off. Not able to do it. Good kiting there from Kappa, able to keep his AD carry alive. They traded though 2 for 1.
And I like Spitfire could have flashed then, but obviously you don't want to risk it. I mean, that Johnny could have had anything up. He could have had shield. and it just wasn't worth it. So I'm glad Spitfire backed off there, not playing too greedy, like what you generally see. Players getting too tunnel vision and just go ham and end up regretting it when they did.
Yeah, I always regret it when you're dead. You know, it's just, you literally sit there in that grey screen, just looking at it, kind of going, "This sucks." But as we've seen now, Cogs are really not having a good time in his mid lane. He's trying using his bouncing bombs as effectively as he can. Those soldiers definitely not making his life any more fun. Now more and more farming, and I feel like, oh, there we go, Cogsar comes in, he actually gets the ignite on top of him, he's gonna go down. He really should have went towards that back turret though. The inner turret might have shielded him up to be able to withstand the ignite. However, Azir does take that one, he burned his ignite on that one. Again, more and more pressure coming out from the Bears. They're doing well, but this time they're only 1k ahead despite having 2 kills, so only thing that's really keeping them ahead are the kills.
And it's really fortunate for that 6. I mean, picking up that mantle first, so he's actually going for Athens, it seems. And against that Azir, it wouldn't be a bad choice. However, he's going to lack some damage, so he's going to be playing on the defensive right now, and he can really only farm, because he doesn't really have that mana regeneration the same as Azir has right now with that cooldown.
No, he doesn't really, and I think it's a good pick, but it does lack a little bit of kind of late game kind of prowess, if you like, because there's only the magic damage that is only coming out is from Azir. As we see now, a gank in that top lane. Nice bounce there from Gatsu. He's trying to go hard on top of Sator Lad. Who are they going to give this one? XJ just walks away, gives that one away pretty damn handily. Again, more and more pressure in this bot lane. They're just trying to see if they can do something with this. Bane, they see it's something about Wackies. They seem to favor these kind of late game scaling champions, but it doesn't seem to be working, as we see Spitfire now getting taken off in the top lane. Gatsu jumped on top of him using the Gnar ultimate. But again, as I was saying, they pick these kind of late game orientated champions, and against the Graves, it's just not working out for them.
Yeah, I mean, the Bears really aren't allowing them. They're just at their throats right now. Like, each member of Wackies right now are just hugging their towers, and Bears aren't giving them any room to breathe. They're forcing them into a decision between farming or taking trades, and every farm that Vayne actually tried to get, Wally actually punished him for it, which is well played. And you can see the strength of that bot lane with that CS advantage, 46 to 24, with those kills as well. This just opens up a dragon, which they're going to take right now.
Yeah, Dragon was very much on the tables for the Bears. They're going to take the first one of the game. They have it warded. There is no vision now. And look at the wards, though. Very nicely placed on both kind of, bushes or kind of blinds, if you like, for on the other side of the jungle. So you see Spitfire Gay. He's going to pop down a ward, only to see that it was already taken. Go back to trying a jungle, and they didn't even have to burn a teleport or anything like that. They did burn a teleport to get back to get Gatsu back to top, but at the end, level 6 in this bot lane compared to level 4. They really are not having a good time, the Wax.
Nope. And, well, it's just like what we says. Can they survive long enough for that Vayne to really shine? I mean, can Maxwell over here release his inner double lift? We'll have to see whether they can survive long enough into the late game for that really to happen.
Yeah, I feel like if he was going to release his inner double lift, it would need a lot of toxicity and a lot of disrespect and trash talk. But you never know, as we see now, the outsider. And actually, Sator Lad, I don't really know where he's trying to go. He's trying to jump on top of Gatsu, but Gatsu's exceptionally tanky right now. He will be able to throw these back, use the Gnar ultimate, push them against the wall. Sator Lad, he thought about going in, didn't know if he was fully committed to it, eventually went in and ends up losing a kill now, as we see the Mega Inferno Bomb going down the mid lane to clear that. Honestly, Gnar versus Rengar, are we thinking Gnar the ultimate winner, or are we thinking maybe it's just a tale of two different, Sorry, I'm very impressed with Gatsu there, using the double hop to get away from the sprawling dragon that was going after him. But back to my point, Rengar versus Gnar, are we thinking that this is a natural kind of progression of who should win, or is it more so a skill difference, to put it in the most diplomatic way?
Well, smashing the bot lane. Looks like Kogsu will live from that little skirmish out there. But talking about the top lane with, Lee Sin land the Q.
Oh, he does indeed. XJ able to pick up another kill. Will we be able to ever talk about that top lane? I don't know.
Let's talk about it now then. Okay,
Go for it.
well, the Rengar and the Gnaw. I mean, Gnaw having the advantage being ranged, and Rengar having no reliable way of trading. His only reliable trade is really with that Eon action in the bot lane, and he going down.
Yeah, and he gets absolutely obliterated there. Got caught up, got completely out position. And now Vayne has to go back with not even 800 or not even 1,000 gold in her pocket. She is now nearly 30 CS, or yeah, just over 30 CS now behind the Graves. Not looking good. But anyway, back to your point about Rengar and Graves, if we can ever have it.
Yeah, I mean, range versus melee, the range usually always has the advantage. I mean, Rengar's only range trade is his E, which can be disrupted by the first minion or whatever hit. So that's a really unreliable way of getting a trade. So basically, Gnaw gets a free trade most of the time. And it's really difficult for the Rengar to play this. Because even when... Flash Annie.
Oh, we see now Flash Annie comes in with the Incinerate. Good use of the ultimate by Kappa. Splits up the fight a little bit. Maxwell, they end up taking one kill. He uses the Condemn, but here comes Lee Sin. He comes with a good kick execute there as well. Here comes the teleport coming in, but I don't think he really wants to come in onto this. Satterlad is very much outnumbered, and this is a pretty terrible fight for his part. Red Buff is being the fourth man for the Bears right now. He was just doing damage. You see now Satterlad trying to run away. Actually, it's Azir who picks up Spitfire K along the outside, gets that Q on top of him there. Bears able to clean up another fight. They get top lane turret as well, as Gatsu was just left on his own. I really feel like they're just going to keep pushing onto this. They don't have to stop.
I mean, there's no one really there to defend that bot tower being taken right now. Maxwell and the Outsider were killed in that previous fight, and that bot tower does go down, fortunately for them. And there's Gnaw pushing up that top lane as well. It doesn't look like anyone can actually follow up on that. The only tower now living is actually mid lane with that Ziggs, but that's just Ziggs for you. I mean, he can just wave clear for days. He can stall the game out, so maybe this Ziggs is their only hope to just stall the game out as long as possible, where that Vayne can finally farm up and shine. But that's going to take a while and a lot of stalling.
Yeah, quite a lot of stalling. You would imagine it would be 20, 30 minutes of stalling. Realistically, 30. Satterlad 3 levels behind this Gnar. He wouldn't even if it wasn't to do with items, he would just purely have so much just because of his level difference. He's Spitfire K trying to jump on top of Gatsu. They know he has no Mega Gnar form. He's just trying to kite. He's able to flash away. This is actually really perfect for him right now. He's able to get one. There's one down. Gatsu trying to keep going on top of this. Spitfire K trying to get him. He does get him in the end. But a turret in the mid lane did go down in the favor. But he took it 2v1 or 1v2. And ended up trading 1-for-1. Very, very nicely played by Gatsu.
And both players after getting really low, and him picking up a kill from that 1v2 was actually really good. And we can see the Bears now actually making use of that pressure and now moving into the mid lane. But there's Ziggs for you. Just wave clears, no tower for you. There's...
Yeah, no tower for you. As you see now, Outsider gonna get caught up, gets the collateral damage to the face as well as a Sand Soldier, and he gets taken out. Cogs are trying to do something. He gets caught out as well. A lot of vision being put down and a lot of deep vision for the Bears. Condemned though against the wall. Will Starkey get away from this? I think he might be able to turn it around. And a little bit of preemptive ultimate there. Oh, okay. Satterlad just walked into it, takes the full brunt of the damage. He's going to go down. You'd imagine there it is. Tries to jump on top of XJ, but it's not going to be work. There comes a Chilling Smite as well. And you pop down the rubber ducky, but again, there's just so much damage. Only Morel Nomicon on top of Azir, but he is level 10, so he's got so much compared to this level 7 Vayne. Strength to strength, ashes to ashes, dust to dust, and it's just not really working out right now. And unless Ziggs can try stall this out, but he has no mana himself.
Nope, and Ziggs only has his limits. I mean, the mana is his limits. Oh, that dunk from the Gnaw.
Bomb. That's all you gotta do there. That was literally a bomb kill. Like boop, and just
that's like
done.
A Mario right there.
Literally, yeah, like popping out a Goomba. How the mighty have fallen. Annie in our last game was a terrifying child, ready to kill and able to kill absolutely anybody. And at this stage now, just not able to do anything. And another dragon going in favor of the Bears. 14 minutes in, they have got two inner turrets down as well as all the outers. They are 5 turrets to 0, 16 kills to 2 up. They have a 12,000 gold lead, just under 12,000 gold. But it's just not looking good right now.
No, and again, I just want to point out on the immense vision that Bears have right now. I mean, their vision control has been amazing this game, as in the previous game as well. However, the Wackies are lacking slightly. I mean, the ward's coming out now. However, it's a bit too late for that, I feel. I mean, there have been many times where people have been getting caught in their own jungles, and when you're playing behind, you need to keep those wards up. It's hard to maintain them. However, that's your only way back into the game, is to possibly make catches, because you can't win a team fight. And does it look like there's some skirmishing going here?
Yeah, some skirmishing happening now. Saturlad uses the ultimate, tries to come on the XJ. Oh, Sizer K. Spitfire K actually does not get away, gets shield spine, and the Q landed back in. XJ on form, able to jump straight in over the ward, get the Q back on the Saturlad, picks up another kill for his team. Very, very nicely done. But as you were saying, there's just not enough time in this game for them really to stall out. I feel like they're just going to push down this top lane, get that turret, and possibly even rotate. The Baron hasn't even spawned yet. I was going to say they could rotate for Baron, but they can't. It's not even available yet.
Yeah, I mean, like the previous game finished in 21 minutes, and that's a very fast win. And this could be another game similar to that.
Yeah, another similar name. Ziggs the first to fall as the turret went down. Maxwell used his heal. It's not enough though. Spitfire trying to do as much as he can. XJ thrown in the Q. Star Q getting hit up by the laser. But again, they have so much pressure now. The mid lane was pushing in their favor, so they got quite a bit. Annie used the bear, but it completely misses everybody, and now everybody's trying to turn the back on her. Here he comes. XJ now in no man's land. He misses the Q though. It's very rare for him. He might actually be able to stay alive if he's hero. He uses the safeguard, able to get out of that. That's going to be inhibitor falling. You really feel like this is just the end of the game for the Wackies. They fought admirably, but it's not going to be enough. Their base has been cracked.
And I just want to note on XJ's amazing plays. Like previously in that Baron pit, he thought he messes up with the Q. He didn't go flying over the Baron wall with that Q. However, he makes up for it with the reactionary ward jump and managed to land that Q on that Rengar. And you saw just then, he dies a tower. However, he's good enough to calculate how much damage he can take and make it out alive. And as you saw, he makes it out alive, not dying. And it's a skirmish in the bot lane.
Yeah, massive trade there to see Gatsu, who was pretty much at half health against a full health Rengar, and this is actually the funny thing as well. Look at the difference between the kind of items, not just the items, but the wards as well, by the Bears and by the Wackies. The Wackies, not even Annie has picked up a Sightstone. They're all working off their trinkets, which is just not enough in my opinion. None of them have finished off a full item, apart from Annie, who's finished off Frost Queen's claim. But again, it's just stuff like that. It's just not going to work out for you in the end.
I mean, what we previously mentioned is that Wackies lack a lot of vision, and it could be the reason why. It could be when your support is focusing more on this Frost Queen, this damage-oriented item and peeling, rather than vision for your team. I mean, if your support isn't building a Sightstone, then who else is? And the fight in the bot lane again.
Yeah, Gatsu able to get the big push, burst of health, able to pick off one. Rengar goes down as well. Annie is the second. Everyone's splitting the kills. It was a 3v3, and in the end, Starkey, Gatsu, and XJ, being great teammates as they are, they all trade the kills back. And oh no! Oh! The Monsoon able to keep Gatsu alive. No way was that even. That could not have been telegraphed in that sense. In no way they were able to cut a good reactionary play, but. Not going to happen, unfortunately. Starku taking a little bit more damage, but I feel like this is the push, in my opinion. I feel like they're going to wait for the minions to come in. Everyone's back up for the Wackies, but there's nothing they can do. They have no cooldowns, they have no TPs, they have no flashes. There's nothing they can do, and with this Azir just throwing out so much poke, so much kite, it's just so hard for them to do anything without this.
And you can see, they can only wave clear this at the moment. I mean, the Vayne sitting only on a Bilgewater Cutlass right now, whilst Graves has the Infinity Edge, a Phantom Dancer, and a Doran's Blade. I mean, there's no trading with that. So, what we were saying before, how they have to store, but how long can they store for? I mean, it's 19 minutes now. We see Bears in the previous game win in 21 minutes, and I'm sure they could do it again. So it's going to be very difficult to stall this out.
Yeah, very differently. Inhibitor turret goes down. It's a good rubber ducky, but they end up getting the Monsoon. Oh my god, and he gets completely destroyed there by Wolfie. Maxwell gets kicked away. It's a triple. Will they make it a quadra? They might be able to. It's going to be a quadra. He's going to go after the penta. Will be the first penta of our game. It will be pentakill going over to Wolfie. First pentakill of this G-LAN series. Congratulations to Wolfie. They are going to be able to take out the inhibitor. Honestly, they might as well just try end the game. Gatsu up the top lane, pushing down that that inhibitor turret. Wolfie able to take the spoils realistically from that. Annie going to try come in here. Don't really think she's going to stop it. Execution there for Lee Sin, and here comes the happy smiley face. Don't actually know if they can end right now. They might actually be able a little bit kind of overzealous as we see Wolfie getting taken down. He pops his heal, but he gets shut down in the end. So a pentakill, but not a perfect game for him. It could have been ended for a 9-1. Azir and Gatsu trying to get away from this now. Gatsu just going to jump on top of Maxwell. He gets a kill back as well. He's still so tanky. As we see now, Sator Lad, he's going to go down as well. Starku picking him up in the end. And he might even actually pick up another one if he really feels it. He has got enough mana. There comes another one, double kill. Not going to happen though. Not going to be able to get the triple. He ends up dying and the shutdown goal goes in their favor. But their base is pretty much unprotected. They have one tower left, an inhibitor and the top lane just about survive. I don't even think they can defend against one wave of super minions. Let alone two, if there was in the top lane as well.
Yeah, and they get the best inhibitor. Well, I would say top or bot lane inhibitor, but right now the dragon's up. So with that bot inhib down for Wackies, they have to deal with the super minions. I mean, right now they're just giving up these dragons, these objectives, which are just going into the hands of the bears, and there's nothing that the Wackies can do right now. And like we were saying, how long can they store for? This is the third dragon going towards the bears, given that movement speed, making their already dominant lead more dominant. And now that they can chase you a lot faster and further, you can't outrun them with that extra 5% movement speed. But they're just taking everything right now.
Yeah, they really are. Everything bar the kitchen sink. As we see now, the mid turret going down. The inhibitor is now completely on all exposed. They don't even have to take the inhibitor. Technically, they have one down already. They could just go straight for the Nexus. There's nothing, honestly, that I can see them doing. Like, the only person who is even slightly ahead would be Ziggs, and even then he's only got the themes and Holy Grail. And there comes a pause as well. Pause coming out. And apparently the Bears had 3 DCs at the same time. The outsider asking, did they win by default? but no, it is of course a G-LAN game. It is a G-Series game. It wouldn't be the same if there wasn't a pause. We need the mandatory pause in there. But looking at these groups, looking at the brackets, we can kind of get a little bit of a feel for who's doing well and who's not doing well. It's going to unpause now, but I really feel like anything that happens here now is just an eventuality. And my spectator kind of seemed to have bugged. I'm still paused.
I'm paused on one for some reason.
I am also paused. I wonder if the stream is also paused. But again, as my point was going to go on, we've kind of seen now Unite in Group A, Inforced Bears in Group B, or Relentless Gaming in Group D. We haven't actually had a chance to stream them, but they had taken their first 2 series as 2-0 each. They are 4-0 in groups. So right now, these teams are looking like the teams most likely to get out of quarterfinals. And honestly, the other teams need to start stepping up their game if they want to be able to get into quarterfinals.
Definitely, and they should definitely look over their games. I mean, if you don't have a replay system installed, for example, I would say LoL replay, but LoL replay is really buggy, and I don't think it's been working for months now. But Baron replay, worst comes to worst, you can use LSI, and these teams, if they want to improve and want to get better, they need to play these 5 games, scrim other teams, and then with that replay file, or if you win, then good, you won't keep doing what you're doing, but obviously you can always find something to improve on. Look at the little mistakes. Is it your vision? Is it your objective control? Is it your team comp? How did you play the lane? Communication? There's so much to improve on, and there's no one out there, no team out there can say there's nothing we can improve on. I guarantee you that.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you there. And guys, just so you give you a little bit of an update, the Bears won 10 seconds apparently after that pause had resumed. A spectator bug, we weren't able to bring you the ending Nexus blow up. But we can safely say that they did probably win. We'll take their word for it. And it does say actually on my screen right now, red team wins. They ended up going Janna with a perfect game, Kappa with the perfect game, Wolfie with the first penta of G-Series. Congratulations to him. Didn't even finish off his tier 2 boots. But that is it from us here at the G-Series casting desk. Well, the desk in Birmingham and a desk in Dublin. I have been Oisin Bloodfang Malloy. I want to thank you, Kevin Strike Chung, for joining me on this very late cast. Thank you so much for giving your insight, and as much fun as it's been, I hope we have some more on the days to come. I also want to give a quick thank you as well, again, to Razer Gaming Equipment. They have been so good to us and giving us all the equipment for the LAN, and of course, Monster Energy Drink. Thank you guys. We'll see you next time in the next stream. We will be announcing it on our Irish Esports and Gaming page and on Irish Esports, Irish League of Legends. Please stick around for the next game. We'll see you soon.